morning, Pathfinder and magic, or D&D and magic, or whatever. That sort of setting where it's like medieval fantasy, where there's also magic. And whether or not magic should be legal in those settings. And I keep thinking about it, and I think magic should definitely be illegal. Now, when I say illegal, I don't mean like no one should play a wizard. What I mean is like the law enforcement of the world should definitely crack down on magic users, because the sort of things which magic can do is like so much more powerful than everyone else. Sorry, itchy nose. Because, well, okay, it's a setting where like everybody is armed at all times. So it's like, okay, he's got a sword, he might cut you. He's got a crossbow, he might shoot you. And that guy over there can throw acid at you and melt you a bit. You know, they're all like roughly equivalent, right? That's not a problem. But the problem is there's other things which magic can do, which can cause a huge amount of problems for a great many people. Like, how could you even protect your own home, or a bank vault for that matter, when you can literally learn how to teleport? And you can really mess with people with things like ghost sound, one of the really, really basic spells which all wizards have. Well, all wizards can have. Creating a disembodied sound that lasts for a short while. Later on, you could combine that with the permanency spell to make that sound permanent. And I keep joking that you could really destroy a restaurant business by just like putting the sound of someone going to the toilet in the middle of the restaurant permanently. You're like, well, okay, that restaurant is now screwed because no one will possibly want to eat at that restaurant. And that's to say nothing of some of the more deadly spells, like, oh, this whole area is now on fire. Or anybody who sets foot within like a 60-foot radius of this one mark which I've placed on the floor is now asleep and cannot wake up until they're dragged out of this circle. Or instead of sleep, it's like racking pain or dying. You know, anybody enters this one circle, they die. That, I don't think any sane society would permit the use of such abilities when it's like everyone else is, you know, using like swords and bows and arrows and things. And then you got this one guy who can just kill an entire building just because people set foot in there. Oh, you set foot into the circle of death. Well, I think it's called sigil of death or whatever it is. And so yeah, it's kind of like the American like gun control debate all over again, right? It's like, well, if everybody has magic, then everybody's safe, right? And then you got other people like, magic's way too powerful for just anybody to have. Surely we should control who has that. And that's about wizards, you know, people who learn the magic. There are sorcerers who just have it naturally because they've been touched by an angel or a demon or something. And now, you know, magic is just part of them. They can just do it without really even trying very hard. And also, think about the sort of people who would become wizards. Nerds. Nerds would become wizards. And it's still in like a medieval setting, mind you. A society where people tend to value like strength and skill and like physical, you know, prowess. Because, you know, medieval setting, like everyone valued it to the point where the idea of not valuing physical prowess was like didn't even cross people's minds, right? And nerds, well, we don't tend to be too good in the whole physical prowess field, so we're probably going to get quite a lot bullied. And a bullied nerd with the ability to teleport into their bully's bedroom, lay down a sigil of agony, and then teleport out again. Well, that's pretty much every single wizard in that world will be evil. Because like no one's going to be a wizard and end up being a good guy. Because you don't necessarily have like absolute power corrupting absolutely. Well, here we go. It's going to happen, right? And of course, the alternative is perhaps like magic is so common that literally everyone has it. In which case, it kind of stops being special. Because it would kind of solve the power imbalance problem if everybody could do magic. But I don't like the idea of magic being just commonplace. I like the idea of magic being special. But also, we know that in those settings that these games tend to take place in, not everybody has magic. Like, you know, there are still fighters and rogues and rangers and barbarians and, you know, other non-magic classes, as well as just like the common peasant. They don't have magic either. But if magic was commonplace enough, where like a significant portion of the population had it, it would create like a two-tiered society. Like, you definitely have like the mages are in charge because we dare not oppose them. Because oh wait, if I'm planning to rebel against the mages, well, the mages can read my mind. So I can't sneak up on them. I can't even make any plans without at least one of them finding out, right? And they can also control my mind. So if I were to try to launch a rebellion, well, they could make me do all sorts of stupid shit. They could make me walk myself into prison. So there's kind of no way to prevent there from being a ruling body of angry nerd mages who are like keeping their boot heel on the neck of everyone else. Yeah, I know there are things which can counteract magic in these settings, but they also tend to be magical. So, you tend to get a situation where like the only other thing that could counter, the whole American gun control thing. You got the what can stop a bad guy with a gun? Well, a good guy with a gun, or whatever their phrase is. I can't remember. Not important. So, yeah, I don't like the idea of magic being legal in these settings because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So, plus, with magic being so powerful, just from like a gameplay perspective, I think it would balance it out a bit if they couldn't just use it openly. Because, oh, there's a fight breaks out in the street. Well, the wizard could, like, clear those ruffians away easily. But if they do so, well, the town guard will get wind of, oh, you know that person there? That man in a dress? Yeah, he's throwing fireballs around and making people headbutt each other. It was like, oh, maybe we should investigate that, and they'll face consequences. And I think that'll be an interesting dynamic to have, really. The trade-off between, like, yes, you can do all of these amazing things, but if people find out, there's hell to pay. Yeah, that's just my thought about the legality of magic in medieval fantasy systems. I was going to say, if you have any thoughts on the matter, then please tell me, but let's be honest, like, no one's going to watch this. Whatever. Bye.